All right, welcome everyone. We have another podcast, very special guest, good friend of mine, Mustapha, over in Europe. Mustapha, how are you?
I'm great. I'm good. I'm not in Europe anymore. I'm in UK.
Oh, UK. Yeah, no, you're right. That's true. That's a good point. You're in the UK. It's different. Tell me how's it going over there? How is before we dive into your poker career and just get chatting about everything? How is the situation currently with the coronavirus? Just get a perspective on what's going on there.
I mean, in the UK, for what I see, my friends and the people I know are very concerned, are self-isolated from a long time. Like I saw, very smart people get self-isolated when before people get self-isolated in Italy. So they didn't need to wait a politician to tell them to self-isolate. They just made a decision. So I don't know. I just think that there is awareness. You see on the street, there is way less people. You see the shops are changing. For example, they are changing hours, or like some of them they're closing, but most of them they're not really closing because they're hoping for the government to give the closing, like saying you need to close so insurance will cover. And it's a big matter why the government are not saying to everyone like shut down all the shops. Example in Italy as well is because I think they want to tutelate banks and the insurance company by not doing that. So it's a bit, it's a tricky situation. But at least like you see that the people cares and there is less people around and there is more helping the others, I would say. And I just hope that will be full lockdown soon.
Yeah, it was alarming to see. I have friends that were sending me from Miami, from the beaches in the last week, even 4 days ago. There's like beaches are crowded, people are around. So it just shows you the world isn't fully, even with social media and so much information, that everyone's not fully aware and not able to piece everything together super quickly. So, hopefully that changes and things really do lock down. But it's a scary time. What about?
For example, like I spoke with family in Morocco, and in Morocco it's full lockdown, full lockdown. I mean, my family they worked in healthcare, so they always were really taking care of this in a way, and they told me they never saw something like this. When the king said everything is locked down, it's a lockdown. That not.
It was interesting. It's interesting to learn though, countries that have the mark where it's like that, like certain government is so, people are so like follow, right? Like China and these other areas that are able to China switched it off, right? Like
it's a republic, but at the same time, the kings matter a lot for the people. They see it in a way, they see it as theoretically has the blood of Muhammad. So for religious people, it's a big part. At the same time, they've been in the country and having power over the country in in infrastructure or any kind of power from 4 or 5 generations, and they are beloved from the population in general. So when he take an action like this after anyway one economy like Morocco is doing great in the last 20-30 years, it means that the people have to go with him theoretically, and there is more respect for the authority compared to Italy, for example, where I always, as a person, most of the time I would question the authority because I don't truly believe in them, or in the last 20-30 years I always see mistake by them, and so you question the authority, where in a place like that you don't question it as much. It's a royalty first, theoretically.
Right. No, it makes a lot of sense, and we're seeing in the U.S. in places it is a bit it's a bit chaotic, where everyone just say, oh, I'm going to do what I want or what I think is right, and they don't necessarily respect or just instantly agree with what's happening, and it's maybe a little too late sometimes. So that's a bit of a shame. I hope your family and everyone's staying safe. And what about you? What does the quarantine and isolation mean for you? I see in the background some precautions are being met with from Cher.
Yeah.
That's hi there. How are you? That's a good one. I like that.
How are you, Ife?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. Good.
How is Jeff Jr.?
He's good. He was actually he had a bad fever.
He had a bad fever.
Oh no.
Yeah, but
He's
he's good.
okay. He's okay. Yeah.
Give him my kisses.
I will. Good to see you as well. And yeah, stay safe. That looks like a serious mask. Is that the one that keeps out?
Yeah, this we ordered it online. Is the official mask. M3, I believe.
The Q95 or one of those ones?
Yeah, this. Like, but you need to use it once and then throw it.
Oh, one
Theoretically.
time? You can only use it?
No, because theoretically it's really bad if you use a mask and then leave it and reuse it. Because it's not cleaned properly, and theoretically he gives you a higher chance to get the disease. So it's bad.
Each time you put it on, it's done.
Yeah. It's better no mask or a mask that you use once.
Interesting. I'd never heard that. So we're learning something today. That I guess that I see how that could make sense. How much are one of those masks? You're using it around the house, or when you go out? You mean?
No, when we go out. We bought it online like 3 weeks ago. So
I ordered a bunch too, more so just to have in case, down the line if something crazy happens, even or like now. But it's this one's not necessarily airborne, I believe, right? Or that's to make sure. That's just to not let if someone sneezes or coughs on you.
No, it's airborne too. You have the valve, and it's like the one approved by them. So it's supposed to be the one that you are supposed to use.
Interesting. Yeah, I've seen those. It looks official. I ordered some. I'm not sure if I got the right ones because there's some that just keep it from you giving it to other people, and then there's some that protect all. That looks official. So yeah, tell me a bit about what your plans are then while you're quarantined. You're gonna stay. Are you literally like not going outside? Or are you just in your place, or how much are you doing with the quarantine?
I'm home 99.9% of the time. I go out just for groceries, I would say. Yeah. And, I have a gym on my building that is very clean, and we have a cleaner going over there every half an hour. So I do that as a routine. But I'm home. I play online. I read a lot. I read 5 newspapers a day. I read my books. I play my games.
And what about studying? Tell me a little bit before we dive into your career. I want to know player of your caliber, number one Italy all time, 11.5 million in just our live earnings. Who knows online? I know Lasagna. That name online is, or how you pronounce it, it's a crusher. How give us a little bit of insight on what you do, and can you share with some of the stuff you've done over the years in studying poker? Like what's
like for me it was a bit different approach because I always been good at making mistake and then finding a problem solving into it and going into that by analyzing from different perspective. So my game was always making a mistake, pushing the limit, and trying to see also okay, I overbet here, he called me, it was bad. Okay, what if instead of making 1.2x pot, I would do 2.5x pot? Or what if I would have... So I always had this approach, and same as Dario, we always been, playing tons, playing 10 hours a day, and then 2-3 hours thinking about it, speaking open to people that we felt comfortable to be really open. For example, we always had this great relationship between me and him, and he really helped me in my cash game career, and it was the same for me in tournaments because we both specialized in one of these since early age.
You refer to Dario. You mean Dario Sammartino, who actually now is I misspoke. So he just overtook you for the number one all-time.
Yeah, that was but I'm the number one in Africa. I'm the number one in Africa. So I have a fucking continent. Leave him Italy. I have the continent. Okay.
So he did have a $6 million score that did kind of just come out of nowhere and leapfrog you, obviously getting second in the main event, but a good friend here. So that's fair to say one of your close friends that you guys study a lot of poker, talk a lot with him?
Yeah, we spoke a lot. We played a lot together. And for example, with him, we always had this constructive approach where we really speak open, and we have a big ego. So we would really push the other decision down till the extreme. So why this is bad and why, till the other one will convince the other. And if someone convinced me about something, there are few people,
Right.
And this was the beginning a lot with Dario. Then I've been very lucky because I always been in a .com community. I was the first one to move from Italy to play .com, and when I was 19, and like I became really, really good online. Like for 3-4 years, I think I was probably top 2 out there for online tournaments. And during that, I started to move live, and I had a good friendship with many different guys, especially Ole Shemion, Martin Finger, Thomas Muhlocker, and we lived 300 meters away from each other in Vienna. We used to grind together all the time, speak a lot about poker, but at the same time, they were probably always my biggest competitor. He's one of my best friends, but at the same time, at the table, we will party the night before, and then the next day at the table, winning to him is like a pleasure of life. Like it's something that you don't find something else. Not because I respect him so much as a player that he challenged me, even though he's one of my best friends. And the same was like with Dario and some others. So it helped me. It helped me to see other people's perspective. It helped me to see other people approach. Like, for example, Wushu was a machine in sit and goes, and he really helped me on my game under 20 bigs. I spent a lot of time with Breen, and Breen was, was the first guy that, I used to bluff, make big size, and he was the first guy. Oh, wow, you did a good thing, but maybe you should have even bet more, And that opened your mind in a way. You see that, okay, and good thing I had a good network worldwide, and everyone different approach, different way to think, different story through poker. Like I started at 16, 15 working as a dealer. I was alone. I had a tough situation familiarly, so I had to make money straight away. And my approach was playing every day, giving deal cards. Was a goal to buy a laptop and make internet connection because I was underage alone. So already before starting, a big achievement was having a laptop and having an internet connection. I used to play with a phone. So it's all of these, anytime I went through a challenge, it wasn't never a hard challenge compared to what you went through, So. Right. At the same time, I've been very lucky because I had since the beginning, I always had people smart around me, and I always been good at helping them to improve and improving myself at the same time. So,
are you doing? What about solvers, PO solver, these type of stuff? Are you doing studying like that, or do you believe in these type of softwares?
I look into it to know, but at the same time, I think that I exploitative approach, but knowing good GTO is the best, because a lot of time going out of the line and being able to do something that the solver doesn't tell you because you have so many information that the solver doesn't have, is probably best than going through a solver. You don't need to be 100% balanced against a guy that plays 10, 8, 3-bet 5. It's all about that. It's all about also being smart and understanding the situation. And I think this has always been one of my biggest skill sets, being in the situation and being empathic enough to understand the way to think or feeling or whatever it is of my opponents. And I don't know, that was always something that I relayed in poker because I had this, and my game also been impacted by this, my game, everyone game is you have some qualities, and then if you wanna the best in the world have similar qualities, some and some very different. But if you want to be one of the best, you need to push. You need to be really honest with yourself first of all, and very critic. But at the same time, when you realize your qualities, you need to go for them, because probably are the one who will give you the biggest edge.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Looking here at your career for live, at least, because this is just for live tournaments, and seeing the different flags and countries, scrolling through, it's you started 2009, your first tournaments. You look like you were playing live.
That wasn't my first tournament. I played so much underage.
Okay.
No, not in a bad thing. I needed to make money in live clubs and stuff.
Yeah, but, no, I get it. But so these are, looking back though, when you're official, I guess 21, we'll say, or 18, whatever.
No, that is 18. 18. Europe is 18.
18. So
Yeah.
you get a couple scores, and at this time though, by like 2010 February, you hit a score for 75K in Malta. Were you? Whoa, a lot of
That was funny. That was funny because Dario got third.
Wow,
I get second and Dario got third in the tournament, and the guy who won forgotten about it. Like that was a 1K tournament with like 1,000 people.
How many? Why were there so many Italians here?
Because it was in Malta. Like back then, Italy was booming, and like this was a 1K tournament, like huge. Yeah,
wow.
It was like our breakthrough for me and Dario, actually.
So yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is this actually a significant? Did you have much online at that point? Were you playing a lot of online poker? Did you have a role?
I was playing a lot of online poker, definitely. That tournament was funny because I was in touch with a friend of mine that we were doing work together. Yeah, he's still a good friend of mine, and we spoke and we were like, you know what? Let's do a bet. Like if this month both combined, we will make more than 15K. We will go to play this 1K tournament, you know.
Okay.
And then like 2 days before of the tournament, I hit a tournament for like 10 or 11K, but he was on .it, you know, were a different thing, you know.
Okay.
And he also that month won like 5K. So the next day I took a train. I went to Rome to him, and then we flew to Malta, and he had like 30% of me, something absurd. We swapped 30 because it was like just meant to be. Yes. And then we went into the tournament, and then I swapped 10 with Dario without knowing each other, and then it was a crazy story.
That was before you. So that was basically where you guys became friends, where you met.
Yeah, no, we met in Sharm el Sheikh. Actually, we met in Sharm el Sheikh in a tournament where he was crazy, like. Very funny tournament. And then, he was older than me. I was really a kid there. I was playing 100 euro sit and goes. Like I remember I had food poison. I couldn't play the main.
Right.
And that was, I met a lot of guys there. Then in Malta, I met a lot of other guys. And that was the Italian crew.
And so you get a score there. So that was significant though. It was the biggest score so far. Was that something, looking back, were you ahead of the curve at that point, do you think, or was that at that point a little bit lucky, or were you just playing better and overall than the players at that time?
In that point, I was definitely ahead of the curve because I was quite crashing online. I was like on online tournaments on Star.it, I was like winning constant, and I had a good background in sit and goes. I played a lot of sit and goes heads up in the 3-4 years before. So in that point, I was like probably 19, but coming from a 4 years experience where I played tons of live, where I played tons of online. So I think I was definitely ahead of the field in that single situation. At the same time, I wasn't ahead of the field in EPTs, but in this 1K with an Italian field, for sure I was top 5% of the field.
Right.
No
you had an advantage. And what did your parents and family think about poker for you when you got going?
Yeah, like I actually stopped to speak to my family when I was 16 because they didn't accept it. Like my mom was in Spain because she had some problems. My dad left us when I was like 12. My sister was with my mom in Spain. And, like I saw it that I was talented in this. I believe in it. Like everybody around me were like, no, you are crazy. What are you doing? Even I used to play poker with my teacher in a club, and beating her and her boyfriend all the time. And, like they knew that I was going into that direction, that I wanted to drop school and I wanted to go. I was just waiting to be over age 18. But my family were like, no, like we want you to study, we want you to go for it. But really, I didn't have the option to study because, like when you really need to make money to pay bills or like food when you're 16, like you don't see a 10-year commitment into studying where you finish and even you become a lawyer, you make 2,000 euro a month if you are the best lawyer in Italy. So that really, I didn't suit that. I already was working a bit like doing pizza boy and I don't know, like I didn't believe in the working system too much. And I was coming from Magic the Gathering. Like my background since from 11 till like 13, 15, I was one of the best players in Italy in Magic the Gathering. Yeah. Also there, very talented. Everyone around me was like 20, 25. And I remember I used to borrow cards from a friend of mine because I couldn't afford them and giving him like a piece of my wins, but I was always winning. So at one point I just bought them myself, and I still have those cards. Now they're worth some money, actually. It was
what was the Magic the Gathering? What kind of tournament? Like what? I hear this, people come from backgammon, from Magic the Gathering, and the poker. You know, some David Williams, some of these other guys I'm aware of.
Yeah, you know David Williams. It's so funny because when I was playing Magic the Gathering, like I went to this tournament of Magic in France, in Annecy.
Yeah.
And you know, like and it was like the moment where I was playing already poker online. So I went there, and you know, I see this guy, like he was there, and we made it through. You know, I spoke with him about this the first time this year, actually, when I saw him. And we went deep in the tournament, you know, like almost the last round or something. And I saw this guy, like, you know, everybody's super focused on the tournament. This guy doesn't really give a shit about it. Like, super hot girlfriend, you know, like, I was like, what was this guy, you know? And they told me, oh, this guy is a poker player, you know, he got second in the World Series. I was like, no. Second in the World Series?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Way back.
Yeah, that was because I'm a younger generation, you know. He went to Monaco to play the EPT, and then from EPT Monaco, and I knew he was EPT Monaco. Right. Even I was underage, I knew because I was playing, you know. So he come there, and they saw this guy with a super hot girlfriend, you know, in a Magic the Gathering environment where everybody's nerd, where everybody, you know, or kids, or like, and it was like, this guy must understand something that these other guys, you know. I play poker. When I go back home, I'm gonna play poker. Fuck it, you know. And then when I went back home, I was like, okay, Magic, I'm really good. I make some money, but let's focus on poker. Is a better thing.
There you go. That's interesting. That was a transition point.
It was a big.
That's
At the same time, in the way back home, another friend of mine from my hometown, he won a tournament for like 40,000, and you know, it's life-changing money. At the same time, another guy from Magic, that he was one of the best in Italy, he won another tournament. University of Bologna made a tournament between university, and he won it, and he won like 11K. But for me, 11K was life-changing money for real. Yeah. So I don't know. It was like a big, you know, wow, let's move into this. But I can explain you why Magic gives you a good skill set for poker. Because like, you know, when you are 10, 11, 12, and you play these card games, Magic the Gathering is a 60-card deck. You have 60 cards in your deck, and then you draw 7. So your remaining cards are 53. And most of the cards are 4x. So like poker is a 52-card deck with 4x. So since you are a kid, you're making maths on a 53, 52, 51, 50 card deck with 4x. So like a lot of the math that in the beginning to understand poker, you already assimilated because it's the same thing. Right. So he gives you
I didn't understand that, actually. I didn't realize in Magic how that worked, how the game works. So it's actually with similar numbers.
In a matter of calculating, yes. But also at the same time, he makes you believe that you can be a pro in a game since the young age, and you believe that there is a skill set in a game, that if you are better than the others, like for example in Magic, you will win. So when you approach poker, you're like, I know that card games are a skill game. Right. So even if you are 15, you know that the edge is real. So you're going to try to push this edge. You're going to try to find a solution to it.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's tricky, and now maybe is understood more between parents and family members and stuff too. Because like my father, you know, I come from Ivy League background, same thing. They were very worried, like, oh, I'm playing poker, and like it was kind of, I was in college, and they were just sort of like whatever, and then never gave me a hard time. But my dad was saying, no, I wish I played poker earlier. You know, I was like, I get, because you can apply so many real life skills. You know, the math, the winning, the losing, how you handle it. So it's a great skill, and something like Magic as well. You know, it's like a lot of kids are playing these type of games that never going to go pro, or they'll just do, but they're learning skills and they're learning lessons, and they're being able to apply real life situations.
It's the biggest thing poker gives you. At the end of the day, when I look around me and you tell me what poker give you, except, you know, money or like personal fulfillment or like you know, this meditational status or like this sensation that I found only there, poker gives you a skill set. Because, you know, now we've been poker players for like 15 years. You know how many friends of mine I see around that they drop poker, they moved into something else, can be sport betting, can be investment, can be trading, can be, I have so many people in my head. and they approach the skill set that they acquire in poker. That is, you study 8 hours a day, you put your approach, it's a long run, there is variance, and like it's something that life doesn't teach you. If you go Ivy League, you don't have this. You don't have like a good bankroll management base already, or you don't have so many skill sets that approach it in business. If you can turn it and put this skill set in business, they give you a huge upside.
Yeah, no, I think it's true. I mean, you look at some successful poker players and people that have been around, and you're right. I mean, you plug yourself, or so many people that have done this and been through some highs and lows and dealt with all the different emotions. It's powerful, right? Like you can really, it's different, and it's like you kind of have a different outlook on life and just understanding stuff. I think it really.
I mean, it's the same advantage. It's the same way. Sorry, it's the same way. Like often they compare poker player to a sport career. A soccer player, or like, but it's very different. It's so different, because a poker player is a company that he needs to manage his emotional side, his financial side, his traveling, his every single thing you need to manage. At the same time, you need to be ready to perform at your best in that situation always. Where a soccer player, he doesn't have any financial stress theoretically. The only thing he really needs to take care of is his health, and like be ready in the moment where he needs to be ready. Everything else, the financial part, the money stress, is not there. He has a social stress, but you accept that, like you're a public figure and it's fine, you deal with it. But like
I think we need to come up with a video, a playbook or something, because poker, I think, it gets too often negative connotations. And I think nowadays it's starting to become more accepted, and people are starting to realize like the best, like really talented players are very bright and very sharp and very, like it's a real thing. But it would be kind of cool to go through and actually like break down in a short video or run through all the things that poker benefits and skill sets, and kind of put it like like it would be interesting to break it down more, where you could like send them like a 3-minute YouTube video and be like, look, this is my
there is a lot of people that eventually drop poker and they didn't succeed, for example, but at the same time, during the time, they acquire a skill set that if they would understand that, okay, I tried in poker, it didn't went good, it wasn't for me, for whatever reason, like I didn't suit to that, like it's not for everybody. But during this time, during this period, I learned something and they put this approach in other stuff, then they're gonna be very, very successful, because it's like just the best approach you can have.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And now, how is your family? Now that they see that you've risen to the top,
they're loving me.
Yeah,
I'm the most loved one,
and you have
I have all the freedom I want.
What about brothers, sisters?
Yeah, I have a sister that she's 8 years younger, and a little brother that is 7 years old, but he has a completely different life than me. Like, he's completely supported in anything he want to do. He wants to play a game, he's completely supported. Like, so they change, but in a good, like they finally accept like that it was a mistake. And but at the same time, if I was them, like it's tough to see your kid going into poker and want to do only that and telling him go for it. Like it's crazy. So I understand. It's just that for the time, it was a crash. Also, they never been religious, but they're Muslim. Like not religious, but they always. So it was a card game. It was something different. At the same time, like I was the first generation growing up in Europe. So they expected, like the classic, I want my son to be a lawyer or like a doctor or whatever it is. But in reality, we need to do what we want to do. We need to focus on what we want to do. And, like money is really a number, because at the end of the day, when you put your effort and like your skill in something that you love, like you're gonna get fulfillment anyway. And at one point, for example, for our environment, money will be just a result of your hard work or whatever it is. And it can sound like, okay, this guy won millions, and I think in my first 5-6 years I broke like hundreds of times. I remember it took me 2 years to make from 10 euros to 2K, and I was playing with a phone as a modem, like a broken laptop connected to a small television that they give to my mom when she bought a sofa. So I could play 2 tables. When I put the third one, the screen goes black.
Wow.
I swear on God. So whatever, it took me 2 years and no, 1 year and something. And I say, okay, you know, now I make an investment on myself. I cash down half of my bankroll, 1K. I go buy a laptop so I can grind. And, you know, I send some money to my mom because she really needs it. And I keep 200 for my expenses or whatever. The next day, I came back home.
Yeah.
I lost 950 of the 1,000 I had left. I punched the new laptop and broke it. No. So I had to start all over with 50 euro, 2 years of my life, throw it off. But I acquired a skill set. You know, then...
You said no more breaking laptops, no matter what.
No, breaking laptop was a common thing for me. Like, not in the things I punch it, but that was the only punch. But I don't know, like I would play with the laptop.
How many have you broken?
I don't know. This is resistant. This I have it from 3 years, I think. One time, I don't know. Let's keep it private.
I don't want to set anyone off. How many tables do you like to play when you play online? Poker?
I would say my optimal is early stage, middle stage 8-10/12. Late stage I want to play 6-8 maximum.
6-8 max.
So I would adapt also my session in base of the tables I have. For example, if I have different good runs or whatever, I will not open many more table, or like, because I think like the EV that you get from a single table by being more focused is way bigger than just starting a new tournament that it's a $200, you're gonna make maybe $30 for it, but at late stage it costs you way more money. So my approach has always been like this, like try to focus when I have opportunity to really make money.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think I honestly think that's one of the most underrated things about online poker, and it's very tricky, right? Because especially there's so many options now across different platforms you have access to. So it's like you could play, you know, if you're playing at $500 to $5,000 buy-in tournaments online on a given day, there's a ton of options at all times. So it's hard not to say, oh, this is a good tournament and like, let's do this. And I think that I struggle myself because I know for sure that when I play 2 to 4 tables, I'm a whole different player. When I get into that like 6 to 10, like 8, especially I'm streaming on Twitch, it's chaotic. You know, like I'm missing stuff. You're just not getting the spots. Like you're just missing little blind on blinds. You're missing easy opens, jams. Like you're definitely sacrificing EV. So I agree with you there. And what's your volume spread across the different platforms right now? Like your Winamax.
Like I'm telling you, like the last 3-4 months I didn't play much because I was really studying other stuff. You know, like it's been 2-3 years that I do a lot of investments and I really like it. And I don't know, it's just because I found myself at 29 with a good skill set in poker, but I wanted to learn also other stuff. So I started to do that a lot. And at the same time, I do a lot of sports betting.
Right.
But, now everything shut down. So I'm back to poker.
Yeah. Is that Serie A? Are they still playing games behind closed doors? No games at all.
So many cases of Corona too. Juventus had like so many. Firenze had like 6, 10 with the staff. Atalanta had 8.
Why? You know, because it's sort of. I guess it makes sense because they're in like a team environment, but still, I'm a little surprised that these teams are getting so many cases. You would think like 1 or 2 guys get it, and then they're sick and they stay away from everyone anyway. Like I'm just surprised that it's
the problem is that you have 15 days of incubation. So some guys just had it and they've been training with the others for 2 weeks, no sign, no nothing, and then you infect everyone. Or like, for example, the Valencia team, he went to Milan to play against Atalanta for Champions League, and they came back and they had 6 people infected.
Wow.
So
I heard the Juventus case, obviously some big names in sports getting it. I didn't hear about Ronaldo didn't get it though, right?
No.
Somehow he's probably just
he was in Madeira during the time of he was in Madrid because his mom was sick, apparently she had the ictus, and then he flew to Madeira because the situation got straight away problematic. So he saved himself.
There's a lot of it's crazy times out there with sports and everything else. I mean, it's pretty hard to say. What's your estimate if just based on the information you're hearing, or in terms of if you had to guess right now when you think it's safe or like you'll feel comfortable and to go outside, do you think it's 1 month? Is it 2 months? Could it be longer? Like, what do you think time of isolation?
It really depends country for country. I honestly think that, for example, for soccer in Italy, they will restart before society get to normality. Because, they moved yesterday the Europe Cup to 2021, and this was made only to give the clubs the time to finish the league, because if they don't finish the leagues, they would really risk bankrupt. They calculated that Serie A, by finishing the league, will lose 200 million. By not finishing it, will lose 700 million, the clubs. So you understand, it's really a big deal, because most of the clubs are not so profitable as a company. Like there is a few that are really profitable. Even Juventus is not a profitable company. Inter is not profitable. Atalanta is profitable. Udinese is profitable, but there are a few. So it's a problematic time, because really most of the company risk bankrupt if the state doesn't help them, and it's the third biggest economy of Italy. Like at the end of the day, after tourism and food, cars, is soccer. Like he moves so much money in Italy. So it's tricky. It's very tricky.
It's complicated. I guess a lot of the teams have players too that are infected. They have to at least wait a month or so, right? And then they can hopefully get everyone back. But yeah, it is wild times. Jumping back to the poker side of it, I just want to kind of run through again your career, some of the highlights, and we can't really go through all of it because you have a lot, but I just want to hit some like milestones here. So then a year later, after that 75K score, you get a 276K score literally a year later. And this was an IPT. So in Italy, look at all the Italians. It's crazy. Like
that was good. That was it was in Slovenia, was like a life change for my career. And it was after I was grinding the EPTs for like 3 years, I would say, and I was top 2 of the field. Like I didn't win, but I was always there. I was maybe one of the few Italians that the guys from the East who would come to play, very good player, they would ask me for swaps and stuff like this. So I was really beating it, but I was always close. Then there was a very dominated tournament. Like I absolutely crushed it. I had all the chips all the time. I remember we had a deal 5-handed, and I actually got first prize for how was the situation in that tournament.
You actually hear about these spots. Like if you do a deal 5, 6, 7-handed, there's times where you can actually get more money than first, right? Which is kind of crazy. Like you could actually get like, that, which is hard to do. It's very rare. You have to have a ton of chips, right? To get
like for me it was like I locked 100. It was in euros. It was 200K euros total, and I locked 170, and we keep 30 to play. And
then you still won it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick. So all right. So now you get that score. You got some confidence. It's a big deal to get a first, and now you're on the circuit, right? You're traveling around. You get Partouche later in the year, a big score. It looks like for 270. 270 and then 259. What was that? Is this one Oli one? Or no?
No. This is before Ole. This is the year before I get scammed in Partouche. They made me like you'd think it was a case on 2+2, and then the year after I was like, no, I need to go there. I need to win this money. Like I need to go. I'm not speaking to anyone. Fuck everyone. I hate that place. I go make money, go back. Period. And I went. I made final table, and then he was like 3 months later the final table. And it was a good experience. It was also the time where I moved to Malta, and I was playing a lot of online poker on the .com. So it was like a good time for me.
What do you mean you got scammed? What does that even mean? I had heard some issues. There was some Partouche. Is that the one where the guy was signaling, or there was some like weird stuff?
No, this was way earlier actually. I was at the table with Mehmet Mori and Binger.
Yeah.
And nothing. I was playing against this guy, a side event for 1600, and we were first and second in chips in all the tournaments. So whatever, we are in a river situation where it was a crazy hand, like a crazy out of this world hand, like something unbelievable. Right. And then on the river, it was like a 5-bet pre, bet call, check raise turn, and then we are on the river, and this guy bet like 60K with like 110 behind, okay? And I wait till the last second. He calls the time bank, 3, 2, all in for me, you know? And it's clear, all in. The guy look at me and he takes his card and mook it, okay? So what I do, I show him my bluff, okay? And the guy, you know, he move, he look at me very weird, but the card were already on the table on the mook. He was like, no, I say call, okay? Then he calls the floorman, and the floorman came there and he was like, no. If you want to explain me something, you need to speak to me in French because the tournament is in French. And the guy told him only his perspective, you know. Then two guys of the table everybody start to defend me, you know, and the floorman didn't want to know shit. Then this guy Banger, he gets banned. He was there. He was like, no, guys, you're stealing money. You are stealing money. I don't want to be part of this, or you give me back my money, and they want to leave. This guy, it wasn't me. And the guys ban him from the partouche and give him back his bind, okay? And then they break the table straight away, okay? And they give the thing to this. Then the next day, I was almost getting a fight with this guy outside, whatever. The next day, Memento Mori published everything on 2+2, and it was a big case.
Wow.
So I was like,
so you didn't cash, or you didn't get the pot? They gave the guy the pot, and then what happened?
They give the guy the pot, everything. They fuck me. Yeah. And they couldn't even explain. I was trying to speak English. It was like, no, it's a French tournament. You need to speak only French. Oh, putain de merde. Ce n'est pas possible.
Shit. That's
yeah.
damn.
Now I'm better in French. I can help myself, but back then was yeah.
That's wild. So you come back though, you get a big score. You're feeling good. You get a 260 score. You're on the map again. It's not because like you hit the 74K score. It's nice. You hit you win a title in Italy. Pretty huge, right? You got to feel powerful. It's nice. You get in your and now you're moving to other countries. You're bouncing around. You got to roll. And then what would you say is the next point in your career? Because like you have one of the heaters in poker that is they compare, you know, the Dan Coleman's, Fedor Holt's, Bonamos. Like you had a run where it was just sun running and I mean just everything. But you have another 492K score. Now it's your biggest. Was that a pivotal moment in 2014 when you had a 500K score?
Yeah, that was a big moment because I also was coming from online where that 2 years, like I really was unstoppable. Like it was a moment, and it was my first 25K. And you know, like I had people coming to knock to my door, and they were like, Igor Kurgandov will knock to my door, and he would like, Mus, you need to play this 25K. I buy any action you want, and I would be like, no, I don't want. When I play with 25K, I want to have the bankroll and play it myself. And like I had a big bankroll back then compared to the guys who were playing the 25Ks, you know. So when I played that one, I was very confident to beating the field. And I was coming from online where I was top 3 of the field, like clearly winning, crushing. So I was very comfortable when I started this because I waited for them for like a long time. I waited to be comfortable to play it. I waited to be ready. It's also about knowing yourself when you're ready and when you're not. It's a big key. And yeah, that was a big. I played very well. I think I deserve also to win. And the final table, I get quite unlucky. And then from there, we went to Australia with a friend of mine. That we went there together, and then we went to Australia. And in Australia was something sick because we get there and we had no money. Like we had the 1,500 total, like 5K total, the two of us, and you know we paid the rent of the apartment like 3.5K. We had 1.5K left, and it was like, okay, give me I take the 1K, I go play the 1K, you know. And he was like, okay. And this friend of mine was Supernova Elite on PokerStar back then, so he wanted to put the grind online also. Whatever. Right. I close chip leader day one. I go back, and it was like, bro. Leave the computer. You can't. It was the first time in Australia, you know. I was like, bro, leave the computer. You cannot play computer in this country. Like, go play live because it's like Sanremo 2009, you know. Like, it's something unbelievable. And he was like, no, bro, I don't believe you. No, like, what you told? I need to play online. I need to make my points. No. Okay. Then the next day, all the Germans came over, and you know, we didn't have any money problem anymore. Benny was supposed to trade me and whatever.
Yeah.
So he came, he showed up at the casino. He was like, but why everybody's old here? It's different from Europe. Maybe I play a live tournament. And he signed up to the event number 2. Okay. So I won event number 1.
I see that. I see you won 100. So you come off your first 25K, big score, Bahamas to Australia, and you just ship it 1,300.
So I shipped this one. Okay. And my friend is deep in event 2. Okay.
There's all Australians. Look at this.
Yeah. We were 2 Italians only. Listen to the story. 2 Italians. No other Italians there. Okay. Yeah. So we arrived there. I win this event, and my friend is playing the event number 2. So I registered to event number 3. Okay. But event number 3, mine is another 1K 6 max with 1,000 people or whatever.
Same thing.
500 people. So the time I make final table in event number 3, because 6 max was a bit faster, my friend is final table event number 2.
Wow.
He wins event number 2, I win event number 3, and we do 1, 2, 3.
Wow. That's crazy. You just come clean out Australia. What a week.
It was, we get there, we had 1,500 in our pockets. I didn't have to take any more money from the Germans or whatever. We had the money, all the prize pool of the first 3 events between me and him.
Bro, I'm looking right now at this run and this stretch here. It's pretty crazy. You go 4th for 492, first, second, 5th, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 5th. You final tabled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tournaments in a row. I mean, obviously you're playing others.
No, more. Also I played a lot. But I don't know, this was really the time where I was the Italian German, I would say. I was working out every day with the guys. We had a very good network. And it was, I was also very frustrated this time because, I was always with Ole. And my placement was 3rd, 5th, 6th, 5th, and his placement was first. So, and he was in his run. Ole Shemian.
Yeah.
So he was in his bull run, At the same time, we would play online, and for me it was first, and for him was 3rd, 5th, 3rd, and he was like, "How you do it?" And for me it was like, "How you do it live? How the fuck you do it?" I'm always there. I play good. I don't win. Yeah. And then at one point everything turned. He turned like I knew that the most important thing for me, it wasn't winning. It was like being consistent, being consistent. Yeah, we wanted to be there and deliver. And for me, like the real win is not like actually the trophy, but the real win is, delivering every single time excellence, delivering the best performance that you can deliver every single time. And if you've wrong a decision, like it's a decision game, it's fine. But the most important thing is keeping forward, don't make this impact you, don't make this put you down, because it's just fresh and be in the moment, like keeping going on. And like that was a moment of change. I think Ole helped me a lot in moving into, he was like super confident. We always had swap, and he was like, you're gonna make it, like he was clear. I was crushing everyone, and it was just a matter of time.
What was we're gonna go through your son's run situations here in terms where you really turned it. But if you had to take, looking back on it, and with what you shared with Ole during this time period, let's just say you were the best player, the most winning player online, or one of them, right? And Ole was winning everything live, but you were both deep in final tabling but reversed. What would you say at that exact period was the difference in your game? Why maybe you weren't winning live and why you were winning online? Like what were you doing?
We were very different. The online game and live game are 2 different games.
Yeah, so explain to us at home. Explain what that means exactly, and what you would say, why you were, how those are different. What makes better, and what adjustments do you have to make in each?
Like online is you have so many fast information. Like you have you need to be very versatile and fast, and like I don't know. I'm a bit particular, because if I'm deep in something online, I always looked at patterns in a certain way. I always looked. The maths is very important online. Like being able to trick ads is it was important back then, like being able to show a 3% 3-bet, but in reality you are so unbalanced, and 15 left, you're 3-betting 20%, but nobody knows because your heart shows 3%, and they're like, what's wrong with this guy, So it was very different games, and for live, it was, for me, always been more like, bring my game of online, but at the same time using more information, because I also had a bit of a talent on getting people live read, or like feeling the energy of people in a way, when someone is lying and he feels uncomfortable, or someone is very comfortable and he wants to show out overconfidence or whatever it is. I always been very empathic, and I could see this, when you spend 15 years always playing one thing and like always live for 15 hours, then you see also other things, because at the same time, you are not, especially in a very high level, you're not making most of your decision by rational, but is how you say that, is like emotional intelligence,
Right.
It's something that you did over and over and over. And like there, what you need to do, but at the same time, you don't have this voice in your head saying, oh, this, but you have like a mix between your feeling and like your head that is saying you something, and often they're on the same pace, and you make your decision on that. So it's very different, like online, you play 8 hours, 10 hours, you have your breaks, you're home, you're chill, you do whatever you want. Live is a travel, is an experience. You need to play 3 days, one tournament, one table. You don't need to get bored. You need to deliver. You need to know that it's, you need to survive at the same time. Like it's different approach. Like it's different. It's just different way to see poker.
For sure. And give me a little bit of a look into what your day looks like for an online poker. Do you try to work out every day, meditate? Is sleep the most important? What would you say your routine is for online and live, or is it the same?
So when I play live, it's a bit tougher for me to work out, definitely. Now that I'm home, I'm working out more. It's also easier to eat healthy. Like I'm losing weight, I feel good about it. But, when your goal is like when you are a hungry dog, that, like you grow up with nothing, and you just see that you want to win, and you see your vocation since early age, and you see your talent and whatever, and you do something that you love, everything goes in the second. Everything, like 3 meals a day, or like everything is like not important. You have a drive, you have this, and you're focusing in this. So for most part of my career, I didn't enjoy myself as a person. I didn't took care of myself how I deserve, because also as an education, it wasn't what I thought, like then with knowledge, with like reading about it, like watching videos or whatever, you see that smart people take care of their health, like they eat healthy, that your body is the best tool you have, and you need to take care of it for a really long time. And I don't know, at the same time, I look around me, my friends who are 40, or they look 50, or they look 30. There is no the guy who look 40. So I found myself like I'm 30, 29, and the next 11 years are a big impact on my long-term life,
Right. You still want to look 30 at 40. You don't want to be the 50-40 guy.
Yeah. I want to be the Jeff guy,
Yeah, well, we're close to the same age. I'm still.
You look 20.
Yeah, we're getting there. Kids, I start seeing gray hairs pop in. It happens. So don't think aging doesn't happen. But no, I'm with you. You're right. There's a lot. I have a lot of 50-year-old friends that look 40-ish, and it's true. You take care of yourself, and it's important. What do you think today? The crushers, the guys that you see, now the absolute best in the world that are grinding all the time and playing live. What do you think has changed now versus then? Like, what are the skill sets? Are guys? Is it more like PO solver stuff? Like, what do you think makes the absolute like elite guys at the moment that are playing the highest stakes?
I don't think. I think it's a mix. I think the best players out there play a mixed strategy, and for sure they use all the tools they can to improve. And this, you don't become one of the best if you don't use all the tools you have around to improve yourself. Like the constant is like really having an approach where every day, even if you make a mistake, you get a lesson from it. And most of the best are usually very open-minded, like they're very self-judgment at the same time, like they can see upside from situations. And I think that makes a good player. Like what is talent is overrated. It's true. Like, like I saw a lot of players that they become extremely good players with no talent or like lower talent than others and make it through. Of course, my generation was different. My generation was, me, Dario, we came from, or other guys, we solved it ourselves. We didn't have like the tools that GTO, the tools of PO or whatever that they have now. For us was, play, and finding a solution to exploit everyone or like putting the other in tough situation or whatever it is. So definitely if my focus today will be play poker 100% every single day, like I will do some solver game, but at the same time I think that is not... I don't know if I will be a German guy that he born in Germany, that I never had the life experience with people so much that I don't feel comfortable with people or whatever it is. I think studying a solver 20 hours a day, see the solver, do what the solver does is the best approach for you. Right. But I don't know, I always been a guy of people. I always speak with everyone. I always get information on the table with my behave and stuff like this. So for me, saying like, do the solver and you're going to win the most. No. Me, I do me, I win the most. Trust me. So if for everyone is different.
It's a great way to look at it. You're right, and and maybe it's a mixture of both, right? And it's good to have the information. It's good to know what the solver does. That surely can't hurt you. But then if you have your own brand and style and concoction of how that works, it's good. Yeah,
look. I have stakers of mine that they do solver work every day that I told them is the best approach for them, definitely, and they should do that. I have other guys that I think they are more similar to me in some ways, so I try to make them think the way I think, even though they do solver work. So it's, it's about a balance.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I want to, again, we have so many questions for you today. I know are you grinding online today? Are you going to be playing?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm gonna play later. I just want to make. I got all day. We got a lot to cover. I just don't want to. I want to make sure we get to the questions because again, there's like 70 questions for you or something ridiculous.
Let's go to the question. Let's do a bit of question and then we go back here and then we do bounce and then we're
gonna bounce.
We change it a bit. Let's make it fun.
Okay,
come on, Jeff.
All right. If you eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
One food for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Wow, that's tricky.
Lasagna.
Maybe salad.
Okay, salad.
Because you can have so many different options,
That's very...
You can play it very different. Like if I say lasagna, after 1 week I will, be bored or like cannot go to the bathroom anymore or like whatever it is. Where a salad, I can find a solution.
You can mix
I can make a pasta salad, I can make a rice salad, I can make a grain salad, I can make a bowl, I can make,
I see what you did there. I see. That's smart. I like that. And again, guys, if you want to ask your question, it's not too late. We'll try to get to them. We got a $55 ticket coming here at the end of the show. We're going to give away to someone. So get the questions in, and then we will select that. What's your hobbies when you're not playing? What are you doing when you're not playing poker?
We play PlayStation. I read. I love to travel. Like I'm a traveler. I love to travel. I love to learn by the situation. I speak different languages. I speak like 5.
What do you speak? What language?
I speak Italian, Arabic, Spanish, a bit of French, and English. I'm fine, right?
Very good English. So yeah, all right, we'll count that for 5.
To be Italian, this is like there never been a prime minister who spoke English like me. Do you know that?
I believe it. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I like that. Someone asked about are you using solver for study? We kind of just covered this, but do you use?
Yeah, we covered that.
Do you do what percent? Like, have you done any work on it?
I didn't been on the poker so much recently. Like I played a lot on Winamax, but over that I didn't do too much. So yeah, it was a time where I was really focused. I was really focused on the sports betting. It was a time where I found it very interesting, and I was putting the work there. At the same time, I was putting the work in a few businesses that I invested on. So it was like a time where poker wasn't like the full, because I explain you also, like usually my main focus is like April, May. and till July is like the month where I put the most work in poker. Like it's usually, you know, there is Monaco, there is the series online, there is Vegas, there is so it's like really the time where I love to play and I love to work a lot about it. And this winter, it was like a time where I didn't felt like playing, and I had the option to do whatever I wanted, thanks God. So I took the opportunity to learn other stuff and focus in other skill set that I think they're gonna pay in the long run. I think, like, you know, like at the end of the day, if you develop a skill to analyzing businesses or like be a good sports bettor or whatever at this age, then it's gonna be a very big upside for later on. Especially, you know, any euro you invested in your 20s is like 50 euros in your 50s, or for what they say. So it's, you know, it's like a good time to learn. It's just about learning too. I like to do stuff that I learn, and your learning curve is very different. You know, when you do something that you never did before, you are learning 90% of the things you read every single day. When in poker, when you reach the highest level, then your assimilation is so little. Like you spend hours and hours and hours to assimilate very, very little compared to any other thing you will do. So that was also a big key for me.
Makes a lot of sense. Would you, if you could only play live or online poker for the rest of your career, what would you do? If you had to just say one.
Wow, that's big. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I mean, for now, it looks like online.
Right.
It looks like it's happening.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point. That could it's be hard to take away online poker like fully, right?
I'm an adapter, and I will adapt to any situation. I like live because the experience we share, the friendship, like the people you meet, like you know, like the hanging out. You've been to our house in Vegas many times. You see, like it's a good vibe, and we enjoy our time other than just playing and be there. Because anyway, you know, you do this for a very long time, and you need to enjoy your time, or you go to a burnout. So yeah, also, like, you know, we have friends all over the world. Everywhere you go, you are welcome. Everywhere you go, you have you feel the place like you're from there, because you are a friend from there that is gonna show you the best places, and it's a blast. You know, like I've been in so many countries, I tried so many food, I learned so many language, and it was only through poker. I never, I don't know, I spent time in Spain playing poker and I learned Spanish, and like I spent a lot of time in South France playing poker and I learned some French, and it was always poker who gave me a lot. I've been definitely poker gave me so much in my life.
Yeah, no,
I mean, I took two. It wasn't only him. It was a good relationship.
For sure. No, it's huge. What was the most celebrated triumph? The one that's very special. What's the thing that was most special in your poker career? A trophy or a moment for you?
Trophy or a moment?
Triumph. What's your biggest poker triumph, I'd say?
My biggest poker triumph is, I would say, is improving the people around me. Like every single person that I really took care and I really put the hours on, even though they had very different talent, even though they had very different approach, even though they were very different people, they all won by me telling them very different things, like very, very different approaches. And this was big. I also think like it was a big change for Italy, like the fact that I went out and I played online.com, and I was the first to challenge it at 19 years old, and like many other guys copied me afterwards, and it became a movement. Or like I don't know, like even Dario Final Table last year was a big achievement for me, even as a person, as a friend, as a, you know, as an experience, was like priceless. As a me personal, I don't know, when I won every single high roller EPT, that was a big goal of me. I won the 10K, the 25K, the 50K, and I shot the 100K with Ole. That was maybe the biggest achievement. Or like, online too, like winning every single tournament of the lobby, like especially after years, like trying to win the million and winning it. Or like, it's, I never been like a guy that gets fulfillment from wins, but I get fulfillment from the experience. I get fulfillment from the friendship. And
a lot of good memories, a lot of good stuff to go look back on. What about worst poker memory? Like maybe it was a bad beat or situationally heads up, and you lost an all-in for a big trophy, or I don't know, something? Is there anything that in poker is
my
tough?
luck. It was tough when I was 20. When I was 20, I lost straight for a year and a half. I lost every single day. After I hit 200K in Partouche, I was playing online, and I lost every single time for straight 1 year and a half. And in that time, you question a lot. You question yourself. You question as a player. You question your friends. Question you. It was a difficult time, and definitely being resilient and being able to be back and being able to, keeping strong and knowing that this is what you want to do, and it's just the variance. It's just, I'm good. Like, I will win at the end. That was for sure one of the things that by going over that, then I didn't have any limits because I went through the worst.
Right.
Situation.
I think also it's important to understand a good point you mentioned is if you play poker and it doesn't work for you, let's say you give a year, it depends what part of your life you're in. Obviously, if you're 30, 40 and you have children, you have a family, it's more difficult. And there's more, just like anything you do, there's more risk. It's more impactful on what happens in the results. But when you're in your young 20s, 25, you're not married, you don't have even a relationship, all these things, and you want to take a shot and try it. If it doesn't work, you can still get a lot of lessons out of it. But you also have to remember,
it's a degree.
And the thing about you and myself and many other people that we know that are still in poker, have come up in poker, you come up risking very little. Because like when you think about gambling or poker, it sounds sort of scary. And like you said, your family and how my family initially look at it like, oh, you could lose your house, you could lose.
But you don't have nothing to lose. What you can lose?
Started with $50 on doing affiliate programs, signing people up. Like, it's not like I'm putting, my parents' credit cards and running their money. You're building.
Dario was that. Dario took his father's credit card. He lost him like 3,000 or something, but he comes from a rich family, and his father wanted to kill him.
Oh my God.
Completely different. For me, it was like $10. I deposited $10. I made it to 100, and I had to cash out the 100 because I needed the money.
Well, the point is, it's like, it's not really generally, if you're coming from a place of beginning and learning and trying to generate revenue, it's different than if you hop into poker and you have made your money and now you start just playing high stakes poker. Like, that's a little more dangerous, right? If you're
the main issue that I think that most people misunderstand is like, okay, I play poker to make money. I want to make money, so I play poker. No, it's not the right approach. The right approach is, I play poker, I want to learn, and trust me, if you have this approach, money will be just a consequence of your hard work. And at the same time, poker doesn't go good, but you improved during your career and you had this approach, you're going to be able to put the stuff that you learn in other stuff, in other things. So the right approach is not like, when you ask, it's like you go to an interview and the first question, why you want this job? Like, it's a very tricky question because like you really need to focus on the approach and focus on the studying, on your path, and then money will be only a consequence. You will make it. Money will happen.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing about anything. Exactly. Anything you want to do, you got to want to do it. A lot of the stuff with twitching, streaming, doing YouTube stuff, it's like you start thinking, oh, how much money am I going to make? It's like, doesn't work like that, really. You got to want to do the process and just sort of put your head down, go to it. And then kind of at some point you look and say, oh, well, this can happen too. So I really can relate with what you're saying on that. I have a question live in the chat, sort of a specific one, but asking about thoughts on Charlie.
Live in the chat, bam.
Live in the chat question. Thoughts on Charlie Carell. Are live reads really important? Physical tells, like Chance Corneth, Charlie Carell, some guys really pride themselves on that. How much weight do you give to that kind of stuff, the live read deal?
I give a lot. Like, for example, Charlie is a guy, maybe the guy more similar to me who came out from the poker scene after me. Like, definitely we have very similar approach. We are both very gifted. Like, it would be an absurd thing that we are not gifted. It's really the person out there that is playing more similar to me. He goes out of line. He doesn't give a shit about what other people think. That is a big key. He can do whatever he feels, and having this confidence is huge. Because especially in high rollers, most of the guys sell action, and your backers maybe will not buy anymore, or like whatever problem that you put in your head. But for example, I think Charlie is a very gifted person, and being him and not making a game that is based on reads would be a huge mistake. And the same thing for me, I would say. Like, I don't know, there is some guys that have this special talent and they play different. And if their qualities is this talent, you need to push this talent. You're not gonna study the solver. This is the main thing.
Right. Yeah, like Bryn Kinney sort of falls in that line. Right? He says this
exactly.
The solver work, and I mean, I'm sure he's aware of what's going on and has.
Yeah, he's not a stupid guy. Like, he definitely knows what what the solver is doing, and he looks into it, and but at the same time, like saying, hey, Bryn, you should play like a solver because the solver is the best strategy. It will be like such an absurd.
Right.
Be, like Bryn, do Bryn, you're gonna print for the rest of your life. Charlie, do Charlie, you're gonna win for the rest of Ole. Do Ole, you're gonna win for it's like this. Right. Dario is the same. Like, Dario never opened a solver in his life, but I will buy action of Dario in any tournament, definitely. Like, I don't need him to study a solver.
Right.
It's also all people that they won minions through their approach. Like they crashed the fields. Like I know how much Dario won in cash game. Like, it's absurd. And saying to a guy that won this much and always won, like, change your approach because there is a solver that is saying this, you will be like, yes, sure.
Absolutely. That's great. It's totally true. What's your favorite poker event and poker series? What do you like live wise or what each year on your calendar? You said you haven't been playing a lot in the last months, but let's take 2014 to 18. What did you just say every year you're never missing and you're really looking forward to?
It's 2 stops. It's Melbourne and Barcelona. Because I like the time of the year. I like the weather. Barcelona, I have family. I feel home. Melbourne, I skip winter. I go there. It's summer. Amazing place, amazing people, amazing vibe, great food, and amazing casino, amazing stuff. They are always so genuine and helpful, and it's really a place where I always enjoy my time. So that was a big key for me. I would say these 2 places, because other of poker, the poker is good, but at the same time, it's the places where I enjoy myself the most. I enjoy every single thing.
Did you go to Melbourne this year?
No, I did not. It was the first time that I skipped. I was here and the fire thing was happening, and I was like really focusing my things, and it wasn't meant to be.
And were you going to Barcelona coming up, or are you still like all this stuff sort of in limbo? But did you have poker plans in the immediate future for life?
I was planning to go Barcelona for the WPT, and I was planning to go Madrid for the Winamax. And then I was planning to go Monaco, and then I was planning to go Vegas, and I was planning for sure to go Barcelona again in August. So yeah, I told you, like, this is like my month. This is the month where I enjoy to play the most. It's my period of the year. It's the places I enjoy the most. I like Monaco, I like Barcelona, I like, so this is the time of the year where I feel comfortable to play. Right.
And what can you explain a little bit what's going on with the landscape for France and Italy, which I know you have a lot of understanding and knowledge on? What's the poker online climate? Is there possible that these, back when Black Friday happened in the US, April 2011, took away US, then all of a sudden there was .it, .fr. What's going on with that? Is there a chance that's going to get back into the main pool, or is it just going to be segregated, and how does that work exactly?
At the moment, Italy has still .it, where they play all Italians.
Yeah.
At the moment, with Corona, is huge. Like, I never saw something like this. It's a big booming. Like, I didn't see PokerStars.it this big from 12 years, maybe. Not really ever this big, so it's Corona is impacting the poker economy huge. Like, it's a bigger than moneymaker effect for online poker, not even close, at least for what I see in Italy. France has an open pool with Spain, and you can play it also from outside. The same with Spain. The .s and .fr are actually open pool, and they can be you can log in from other countries too. Not UK, but other countries, no problem. Like Vienna, Austria, or like Holland, or like many other places.
So if you're in Austria or other places, you can play on .it.
No, the .it, you need to have this Italian number that is this is a code, and this they give it to residents or like citizens. So, for example, if I'm Italian and I live in Vienna, I can play on the .it no problem. But Vienna is a place that it gives you the most option to play, same as Malta. You know, for example, UK has a different regulation and they cannot play on start.it or any IT.
Yeah,
so I'm not playing that.
Question here: what do you think about the closed French poker market? Do you think this is good for FR players in the French environment?
It's not closed. It's like actually an open market.
Oh,
like
the French
you can. The French and the Spain are open. Like you can even make an account from Canada, I believe.
Oh, so if I'm okay, so I could play from, if I have Canadian setup and address like that's, I could just log on and play on .fr.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's confusing. I don't understand. So they're just
because it's like the license is French and Spanish. So you are playing on a Spanish or French site, but at the same time you have the rights to play it from many different countries. Not from Italy because it has its own regulated market that you cannot accept that. But for example, Austria, that has many, you are quite free to open many different platforms. You can open PokerStars.fr, for example, or Winamax or Winamax.es.
But if you're French, then you can't play on the regular sites. You need to play.
You can. Yes, same as Italy.
Interesting, very interesting. I didn't quite understand that. What's the biggest tournament you've ever won? Biggest prize?
The biggest prize was actually I didn't win when I chopped with Ole. That was a crazy week because I chopped with Ole this one and I won online the World Champion online. So yeah, it was a 3 million week. It was fun.
Yeah. What was the one you won online that week?
I was the main scoop on Stars.
Wow. Yeah, and I see. Ole a very impressive career as well. So that was your big. So that's your biggest week by. I mean, that's a pretty sick week. Yeah,
that was solid. Yeah, it was. We have a thick relationship with the main scoop. Also, like the year after I won it, a guy who was backing my horse won it. And then the year after, I wasn't backing him anymore. He won it again. He did back to back. So actually, in 3 years, Tankanta. Yeah. He was my roommate in Vienna back then when I was living in Vienna.
Wow. And you, was that one of your? And then you started playing 50Ks. You had the first 25K. Then you went on this run in 2014, right? You said this was your first 25K.
Yeah.
And then you scored a 50K. You made the final table in Barcelona. I remember that when Dan and Olivier chopped that. That was controversial stuff where they were wearing the shirts.
I spoke with Dan yesterday, actually. Like, I'm in touch with Dan a lot.
Yeah,
love him.
I keep up with Dan too. He's going to be one of the next. Well, he's going to be on the podcast as well. He's kind of been in hiding, you would say, in terms of poker. I mean, he's not been playing much.
He's in Ohio at the moment. Like, he's in the middle of nowhere.
One of the sickest runs in poker as well, and sort of the thing. And then where would you say we haven't even got to the super sun here of the runs of the run? So you got 2013, 14. You come in 2015, and then I mean this is when it just sort of took off, huh? This was
16, 17 was like solid years. Yeah.
May 15, you won this versus Sir Watts, heads up, pretty tough lineup here at the end, but you won this tournament for $1 million, and then from there it just like there were just big score after big score.
No, actually it was this one that I won, and a week later I won the main scoop. Yeah,
man, and this was a 10,000 buy-in and getting
that was crazy because this tournament, I swear on God, I won it without winning any showdown. I swear on God. Yeah, we chopped 300. They give me extra, and I didn't have to win any single all-in because I get there always by post-flop decisions, and I never won all-in pre-flop or like all-in on the turn or on the flop. Never, all the tournaments, and I didn't have to. We chop and they give me the trophy. So it was absurd. It was an absurd performance there.
I mean, this is an actual.
This tournament is the best performance I ever had by far, not even close. Like I really won the tournament with no showdown.
Wow! So you win that tournament, and then look at this streak here in a row. You go third in the WSOP 25K. I remember that actually. I played with you.
Yeah, I deserve to win in this one.
Yeah, that's man. So big difference there. Huge jumps at the end as usual at tournaments. So you could have won that one. You get third, and then you come back and get you get fourth in the 100K at the Bahamas, which has been good. You bring that one. I mean, that's another massive score. And then what else? I mean, you just kind of go on the sun run here. You get fourth there. You get first in the 25K in Ireland. I think I remember you there as well. Chance getting there.
Yeah, against Charlie was the breakout of Charlie there.
Yeah, and
so also Chance. I love Chance.
Yeah, he's also a guy who prides himself on live reads and all that.
Yeah, yeah, I like Chance. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's good. So
I met him in Macau, like crazy.
You get first, and then you take second in this one. This is the one to always. So I mean, this is just. You're just on fire. Like you're just winning everything. What's going on here? Tell me what's happening.
No. Batman.
Is this what's going on? I mean, what happened? What happened? You just turned it on?
Yeah, that was a good time. I'm telling you, it was a very good time. I was, I was in a. Also, like it was a moment where everything went through. Like my reads were very strong. I was playing my best. I was very feared on the field. Like, so, when you have a psychological advantage on your opponent and you know it, you can get big advantage of it. And that was a really great time for me.
What tell me a little bit about that. Cause like, it's a lot different when you're playing in these 25K plus tournaments, right? And you know everyone. So how much do you think weighs into that? When you see runs like Dan Coleman, Fedor Holtz, Justin Bonomo, throw your name in there on that type of a heater, Bryn Kinney, Stephen Chidwick, is that actually, even at the highest level, is it sort of like you just know when a guy's in form? Like when you see these type of results, do you feel that it affects even guys like that? Like when they see like
depends. It really depends who. Like for example, the run of Dan, it was a run that Dan was the best poker player out there. Like Dan was. I'm not saying because he's a friend of mine, but. Then when you open the lobby and you wanted to play heads up and you see Dan, you run away. He was like the boss of the final boss was Dan. And then when you move to tournaments and you have such a skill set and you know to play every single hand heads up perfectly and you're crushing every single one and you put in your head that you want to win tournaments and the people knows you online and, like they're already scared from you, then the edge is real. And Dan has always been also a very smart person. He knows where to push the line and not very good. He knows his image very good. And, like saying that he was the luckiest guy in the world, I don't think so. I think that Dan was the right person at the right moment with a huge skill set against a field that he was far ahead. So he made completely sense his run, even though he won maybe too much, but no. He deserved it. He was the guy that he put the most work. He was the guy who played every single day, 200 heads up sit and goes for 7 years. He started to play when he was 14, and he was well deserved. At the same time, Fedor, he was not deserved the run. I don't think so. Fedor in that moment was the best player out there in the field. Was the best player, the most feared of the field, and. He's a very smart guy that when he understands the edge, he goes for it. And at the same time, he wasn't deserved. No, he was well deserved. He worked hard for it and he found himself ready in that moment. This is the main thing. You need to be at the right moment and be ready. And then that run can happen.
Preparation meets opportunity, right? And he was just ready to rock. And it was his time.
If you found yourself always ready for the opportunity, when the opportunity arrives, you're gonna take it, and that's what made all these players so successful too. Like they always took the opportunity, and also then Smith had an insane run, and he was always like the guy that took the opportunity. Alex Foxen, the same thing. Charlie, the same thing. Like you just need the opportunity, and you need to have put your work done and be ready. Confident in that situation.
Funny about Dan Coleman as well. His first, the this Premier League, he was in Montreal grinding, and this is where the Premier League was. And there was I can look at his Hendon Mob here, and he didn't really have like a 6-figure score. You know, he was an online guy, right? He just wasn't really playing big buy-ins. But I remember because I played in this Premier League with him, but he got called in like a day or two before. I think Helmuth canceled or something, and then he got put in here, and then he, you know, whatever, he cashed. He had a good run, good showing, but then it was like this was like the first televised kind of thing he was on, and then it was just like instantly he just became like you're saying, he like got a little taste, kind of right place, right time, and then all of a sudden it's just like, you know, he just, I mean, that's like the sickest run I've. Look at this shit. I mean, it's just, you could say, where would you rate Dan Coleman's run? Like with Bonomo, I think is number 1 all time, the sickest heater. Fedor, would you say Dan's like 3rd, or like it's up there, right? I mean, it's one of the sickest heaters ever. Just
I don't know. The problem is that Dan was so dominant back then. He was very, very, very dominant. Like he was by far ahead of the field. They didn't have solvers. They didn't have anything. I played with Dan in a daily base. Like I thought that I had a bit of, I had some edges, like in tournament situations, because I played them over and over. So like, for example, bubble situation, bubble final table and stuff like this, I could adapt better back then. But on poker, single, hand for hand, Dan was a machine. Like I always joke with him. We were always very close, me, him, and Victor, and it was like we were always like, okay, so Dan is owning the sit and goes lobby, Victor is owning the cash game, and I own the tournaments. We're good. We're printing, you know. So we always had this sort of joke. Yeah. And yeah, but you know, like he's just a very talented person who's willing to sacrifice everything and putting more work than anyone else in the world. Then he needs just opportunity. And when he found the opportunity and he's already, you know, when the problem is that for them, the numbers speak. When you sharp scope him and you are like, who's this guy? I never saw him. Let's sharp scope. And you see the guy won 10 million online in heads up sit and goes. You're like, oh my God, like it's better if I don't play any heads up hand against this guy, you know? And it's a problem. Every hand is heads up. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true for sure. What's your what do you dream about? What goals do you have in the future now? You've accomplished so much in poker. Do you have anything that you want to do with poker or otherwise? Any firm goals in the near future?
I mean, I have a lot of goals not related to poker. Like in poker, I just wanna. It's more about other people. My goals, you know, like making other people improve, making other people get better, making someone being successful. Like that's for sure something that I wanna do in poker because I get fulfillment from it. But as a personal, like, yeah, I have some, but it's not my main goals. My main goals now is like being a good poker player, but being a good businessman, being a good businessman, being a good man, giving back to the community, and like build equity. That is the most important thing for me. I think, you know, when you're 29, thinking on the long term and building equity through whatever it is, company, real estate, or whatever it is very important. And this is what I want to focus on.
Right. When's the last time you didn't have a mustache?
It's 3 years, maybe. It's a long time, eh? Yeah. You know, my girlfriend, she hates me without mustache.
Oh, yeah?
She says she will break up with me if I cut it.
All right, well, you're going to keep the mustache then. That's
I was close to cut it last week. I was like, maybe I cut the mustache, maybe. But yeah, I need to ask the boss if I should cut the mustache.
Yeah. Just looking at some of these questions over here. We'll take some more and then we'll go through, cover the last of that of the career. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I have a lot of movies. I will say growing up, I really loved... let me see. I love mafia movies. I love, I don't know, The Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump. Okay. I don't know. I love these 90s movies, like
Pulp Fiction, these type of things.
Pulp Fiction, I like. It's not one of my favorites, but I definitely like it. I don't know. I'm a huge. I love TV. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. I loved it. Matrix, or I don't know, all the nerdy stuff. I'm here
for sure.
I'm a huge fan of the Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones as a TV show is, you know, like I read all the books.
What do you think of the ending, the last season?
Like Game of Thrones, till the ending is perfection. Then you should just cancel and do and remake it. I don't know. It wasn't my thing. I think they should have made maybe 1 or 2 more seasons, and it was too fast, too cut it bad. Like it wasn't by the book at all. And
yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's like an analogy or like a team, in the Serie A, perfect game, haven't lost a game the whole season, and then they lose like the last game or tie, or baseball, perfect game pitching, and then a little bit of a blunder, but whatever. Yeah, great series. What do you think the coronavirus will have an effect on the poker industry, live and online in general? Because this is getting kind of World Series. I don't know if they've actually officially canceled it, which it seems sort of like for sure, even though I guess it could hold out a bit more because of it's still some time away, but what do you think about the overall landscape of poker this will have an effect on?
I mean, for the short time, I think it will be very booming for online. It will be a great opportunity for poker. You don't have many options to, enjoy your time or do something. You need to be at home in most of the countries, so it's a huge opportunity for esports and poker. I don't know, for the live scene, like there is always solutions. I don't think we shouldn't think about live for the next 3-6 months at least. I would say a year even, but it's not that the virus will impact, because there is solution to play live even more hygienized. Like you can use online tables or like virtual chips or like whatever it is. You don't need actually the contact every single time between one and another, so we can find solution to play live poker the next World Series in 1 year or 2. It's just that I don't think we should put too much focus into that. I think the situation will take some time because it's a worldwide situation. It's not a situation country with country, but it's something that all the world is fighting together, and we need to become winners as a species. It's not even as a country. It's the first time that we are actually in a challenge as a species, and it's great. I see a lot of people taking the same direction. I see a lot of the humanity change. There is more self-awareness. There is more caring in a way, at least for what I saw. But it's gonna be a big financial revolution. At the same time, it's terrible, but if you are a smart guy, you can get upside of the opportunities. Like every change is an opportunity. So don't stay there and cry on yourself, but try to see which environment, which industry can give you an opportunity for the long term, long term. So like it's really a time where you need to be out and not stop to cry on yourself, because everybody's suffering. There is not someone who's suffering more, suffering less. Someone is burying his parents, whatever it is, but you need to be there. You are home, put some work, study poker, study something. You have the time. Time is the best commodity we have as a species. And now you have the time. Now you don't have excuse. You can study 8 hours a day. Society doesn't require from you anything. Just be home. So it's a big opportunity, like for especially our generation, that you went to study, then you went to university, then you need to get the job, then you never had time for yourself to focus on your passions, because society requires you this, your parents require you this, your family requires you this. Now you really guys have the opportunity to focus and do whatever you want, because you have the time and you should take it. So this is what I would say, like as a recommendation to people. Like now can be a great opportunity, even though it's a paradox. But you have the time, that is the only commodity that you cannot buy. So
you get to a language or something you want to learn, or some stuff you need an excuse to just relax and reset. You get some personal time now, and you don't have to feel bad about doing that.
It can be even trying to be a career, like trying, I don't know, you want to be a YouTuber, try it. Now you have the time to do it. You want to be, you want to go work in another country and you want to learn a language. Now you can do it. Like now is the time that you get ready for the opportunity that you're going to get in the future.
For
If
sure.
you stay and play video games, you're not gonna be ready. I mean, you're not the best in the world, but like I'm not gonna stop you. Good luck in video games too, if it's what you believe. But you know what I mean.
For sure. What advice would you give to someone who's starting to play poker right now? Let's say a college kid sees the game. You know, it's different, right? It's different than when you and I started. It's a different pasture. What would be an advice to them if they're trying to do this as a profession?
Like focus on the process. Like focus on the process. Don't cash out. Keep your bankroll. Keep your bankroll and try to push yourself. Try to have a good bankroll management, but put your time and effort to improve yourself, improve your skill set, not to make money. It's not the goal you want. You're not gonna make money in the first year of poker. You're not gonna make money in the first year and a half, maybe. I don't know, but if you have the good approach and you're going to be there, you're going to find a solution to it and you're going to achieve a lot. And in 1 year time, you're going to have way bigger skill set than someone that is just there trying to make money. That is, it's not the right driven. The right driven for you should be like the approach and like the improvement and like the work ethic and whatever it takes. And everyone is different. So you should really be honest with yourself and trying to understand what it fits you, but be honest with yourself because there is no one who knows yourself better than you, and it's a big key. Like being honest and it's like the most important thing.
Absolutely. What do you do about mindset? Do you meditate daily? How do you handle bad beats and frustration or disappointment? Do you have any kind of mental fortitude tricks that you do, and do you meditate?
So meditation is something that I tried, but I never been. I'm a weird guy. You know, if you tell me try this, I will not try. Then all of a sudden, I will watch a video, see it for myself, give an explanation that makes sense for my weird mind, and then do it every day. I don't know. I'm not eating meat since November, and it was like everybody told me, "Oh, it's bad for you." You know, my parents all my life don't eat pork, and like I really didn't care in a way. And then I was like, okay, wow, meat is bad for you. I stop all of it. Like I'm not gonna eat it. And now in 6 months I feel great. You know, so it's I don't know. For me, it's always me convincing myself by doing a logical program, a logical thinking process, and that makes sense to me. But everyone is different. You know, like I'm very also stubborn. So you know, I'm Aquarius. You know, I'm king of the world.
Right. It's that's interesting how you word that. Yeah. And what about poker though? You seem to be, you're regarded, and from what we played together, a question of how many times we played together. We played together.
We played some.
Yeah, we definitely battled. But in terms of, you know, you always seem to be the chirping, you have fun, you're talking, you're energetic. You don't seem to really take.
Do you remember when I called the 7 against you with Jason?
Oh shit. That's actually one of the actually, you know what's funny? Poker's funny because you just think you remember the bad beats or the unlucky runouts, but I don't know, man. Like, you know, and you start thinking like, because everyone takes it, right? You got how many times you playing online?
I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean it. You know?
That was a 10,000 turbo for a big pot on the stone bubble. And I had aces versus Jason Mercier's 7s, and you walked by out of nowhere, like on the turn, and started singing 7 Heaven, and that just binked on it. Like that was how my Bahamas trip ended that year, and it was super salty. Like that
I'm
was
so sorry, man. Like there is only love for you. There is only love for you.
Man, I've had some tough aces, river 2-outers recently in the last year.
Oh my god,
big equities, yeah. Just yeah. So anyway, but it's all good.
For me, it happens every day in party poker.
Yeah. Me too. That's all I play, and it hurts. God. You running bad on there?
Yeah, party absolutely. Starts never.
What's your name on there? Is it secret because it's a new name? So is that one that public or just a few friends know, or is that not podcast?
No, just a few friends know. I will tell you in private. You know,
okay, good. I'll tell you.
I tell you something. I already said it during this interview at one point.
Said it already. All right, I'm gonna have to think about it.
That's a tricky one. At one point during this hour and 40 minutes, I said my nickname.
Wow, I'm gonna have to go rewatch it, but you'll tell me, right? You're not gonna go through that. Yeah. So, man. All right. So tell me about, before I want to take a couple more questions and we'll just cover, but tell me about what you think your poker will be coming up in terms of volume. Let's say coronavirus didn't happen, which is just, let's just say, was 2020 supposed to be a bigger year in poker for you, smaller? Were you planning to play the circuit aggressively or less?
I was planning to play from March till September full, like except July, that I usually take a bit off after Vegas is over, 2 weeks. But my plan was like really to be back in the scene after this, because they didn't have really big tour. They only had Australia. They didn't have PCA this year. I didn't felt like traveling to Australia. And for me, it was like, okay, when the season is back in Europe, I will just be back on traveling 1 hour flight, go play in Barcelona, go play in Prague or wherever it is, and it's easy. And I wanted to do Vegas anyway. So my plan was actually to be full in the circuit for the next 6 months. So it was, yeah.
And how do you feel the countries like the ones you have friends, family specifically, how do you feel they're handling the coronavirus? Like in the UK, Morocco, Italy, for example, how do you think they're doing enough? Does it seem like people are taking it seriously?
It sounds very serious to me, like Spain, Morocco, Italy, Israel a bit less, Malta. Like Europe is taking a very serious, Austria, Czech Republic, they're taking very serious, they close borders, like in Europe, we didn't close borders since war. Like all the flights are closed. Morocco closed borders, like it never happened in history of Morocco. So it's, like I spoke with people and they're home, they're scared, they don't want to go out. And it's a common thing in all the country. And like, you actually risk to go to jail if you go out. So it's like people are taking it extremely serious, like they have to, because it's not about ourselves. We are 29, we're 30, we're 35, we will be fine, I think. But like when you go see someone older, a parent, a grandparent, and you bring in the virus and something happens, then it's critical. Like I've been through tough time the last few years because my mom was sick, so I was a lot in hospitals. I spent a lot of time like this, and like you feel really bad. Like it's something that I would not recommend to anyone or like wish to anyone. Like
yeah, of course,
something that is very tough. Especially she's 45. She's really young.
Your mom's
like she's 45. She's from 73. Yeah, I had a young mom. Yeah, she had me at 17.
And your mom's young. So okay, I'm just trying to think. That's wow, that's crazy. That is very.
Bill is older than my mom. I think.
Yeah, that's man. But no, you're right. That's the truth, because it's like you start to go, oh, whatever. I'm healthy. I'm young. But I had Bill Perkins on. We talked for a while about it all. Exactly that. Like you got your kids, and then they go and they have your relatives, your aunts, your uncles, your parents, your grandparents, and yeah, it's you don't want to put them in jeopardy, of course, and it's you don't even know if you have it. It's a very bizarre, uncertain.
Also, at the same time, like we say that the virus has 2% mortal rate, but it's completely bullshit, because the reality is the virus hit all the developed country where the sanitary system is actually working. Because we can say what we want, but the Italian, French, and Spanish system are working. Like are public, you have the right to be healthy. Like if you have diabetes in Italy, you get full medicine for all your life. My grandparents get medicine for always. Like I know in US it's a big problem if you have diabetes. Like in Europe we solved that. Like you have the right to be healthy. Like in most countries of Europe, 99.9 is like this. And seeing that, and there is Italy is a place that people care about health. They care about eating well. They care about sport. They caring about is what they care about. They don't care too much about money, but they care about eating good every day. Right. It's like just the culture is very different.
It's also
and like seeing that
people in general, the old live much older in Italy, and that's also why this is impacting them more, is what I understand, because the population.
Yeah. So the population is way older, and at the same time, already, for example, in Lombardy, that a lot of people compare the virus that is an outbreak. It happened in all Italy. No, in reality, the outbreak was in Lombardy. That is 10 million people, and is the same size of Israel. So it's like saying that in Israel, we have 15 cases of contagion today. It will be the biggest news in the world because in Israel are 10 million people, and it's a big impact on population when you have plus 30% every single day. And the reaction that we had in Europe and Italy first was very big, and like everything is public. Like you get free healthcare, and like it's a moment where hospitals already is happening in Lombardy. They don't have any seats. Like if you go there because and you need reanimation for another sickness that is actually curable, you're gonna go there and don't have your reanimation seat and die because of sickness that is curable. And so that is the biggest impact. At the same time, in Morocco, like I knew since when I was 1 to 6, I lived in Morocco with my grandparents, and they were in the healthcare system. My grandfather was like the CEO of hospital, like the economical administrator of hospitals in Morocco. And I saw, like I remember, we spoke with them, and like the healthcare system is really bad there. I believe all the reanimation seats total in all Africa are like 150 seats.
Wow.
Total. So you understand that when the outbreak will hit here, will hit India, will hit favelas, will hit some places where the density is too high, where there is no healthcare, where there is no system, the mortality can be insane. Like, because any single thing that you have can give you a higher mortality rate. And at the same time, the healthcare system will collapse. And at the same time, the economy is going to collapse. So it's like a very, very tricky time.
Yeah, no, right. Like a Brazilian favela gets it. It's just like, what are they doing? It's just like,
yeah.
Like,
but the thing is, like, about
they don't have the access to even understand like what to even do to prevent it, or they don't have the ability to. They don't have hand sanitizers. They're not, they don't have masks.
They don't have soap to wash your hands. Like, Morocco has many favelas. El Cairo, I don't know, El Cairo, is in Egypt, is the biggest city in Africa, and is constructed like a big favela, most of it. Like, it's not a pleasant city that you want to be. The density is huge, and if there is an outbreak there, like the mortality rate, I'm not kidding, I think will be 25% or over. Not because like you cannot cure the people who have other sickness. The hospitals are really bad, and already people die in the street because no food, or like poor healthcare, or like not brushing even their teeth, or like whatever it is. So it's we see a 6% mortality rate in Italy, where is a place where the health, you can say whatever you want. I travel everywhere, and the healthcare in Italy, for how it is, as a human, a poor guy growing up poor, it works. Because you can go to your dentist, the rights, you have it, for free. So seeing that there is getting a 6% rate, where, like I know how is the hospital situation in Morocco, like I really think in Morocco it would be tragic.
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting perspective, and that's, numbers are very deceiving too, right? You can skew stats a lot of different ways and make it look how it is, but the reality is, I think that's an interesting perspective, and need to realize how serious it really is, and why self-quarantine and trying to get this thing sorted out right now is so important. And because it is like it's exponential, right? We need to stop growth and do our best. You got to do your best.
I mean, also for US, it's the biggest challenge they went through. It's like the biggest challenge by far, because every single war you guys went through was a decision, financial or whatever it is, but it was a decision made. Here is not a decision made, where your population is a high risk. You don't have a good healthcare system for like the average person, and it's a challenge of change. Like, you guys need to change fast all the system, and you need to put the liquidity into the system, and like the problem is also the month by month families. Like most of the families, they're going month by month. You pay your rent, you have a little saving, and you go month by month, and that is most of the population. Like in Europe at least, or Africa, or like most of the population is a month. Yeah, you have a normal job.
Yeah, you work,
and that's huge. Like think about you have 1 month, and then you are out of money. You are not getting paid. They are firing big time in the UK. They are firing everywhere, and like they are not even scared to fire, because there is no one hiring. So when the situation is solved, they're gonna hire you back, for example, or they put you at minimum wage. And for most of the people, it's like strange times. Like it's gonna be absurd.
Yeah, that's another thing too, because that's what you're saying. It's like it's one thing to tell someone to self-quarantine, relax, whatever. Maybe it's a little bit of inconvenience, but for people that it is their literal livelihood, or they don't have food, they got to buy food. They don't have money. They're getting. What are they doing? And who's helping them? And then it's like, oh, you start hearing about looting and these other things like.
Yeah, and then anarchy starts. In situation of stress where most of the population is in stress, you know how it goes. So it's very tricky. It's like probably the biggest thing we went through, because like one thing is do a war in Afghanistan or Iraq where it's planned by you and you decide it and you are not bringing it anyway into the state. Another thing is like going into a big revolution and change that you need to do, because otherwise most of your population will have big issue, and the time is now. So you are actually need to make this decision, period. So it's I think in a long-term perspective it's gonna be good for humanity. Like we're gonna have protocols for how solve situation like this since the outbreak. We're gonna understand that there is situation that we are a world economy, and no matter what, we need to take care of it as a world. And it's not like the nationalized system is not like as great as it's supposed to. And the reality is that there is no borders. Like the reality is like we are free men, and the world is supposed to be for everyone. And I hope we realize that at one point.
Absolutely. Well, I agree. I couldn't agree more. I want to do this $55 tweet. We're going to do a giveaway. If you guys are watching, you still have a second to just ask a question, and then you'll be eligible, even though we kind of went through. We're gonna do that, but I want to just go over for a second the last thing I want to ask you. How would you describe your poker style and what you think in the current environment? It's funny because stylistically, there's been different stages, right? 6-betting back in 2009, 10, 11, different styles, different people playing different ways. How would you describe yourself as a poker player? Give me your style.
I don't know. I think I'm very out of the box. At the same time, I'm very, I don't know, like I'm unpredictable. I can be the tightest guy on the table, but in reality, if you see my cards, I'm the craziest by far. But because I'm carded and I play my image, and I can be the craziest guy in the table, and I don't know, I play very good my image. That is for sure my biggest skill. I can adapt good.
You adapt. You can come in and fold and play the tightest. You can.
I'm an adapter. Like give me a situation, I can go really out of line and stay in the line, but I will try to get the best out of the situation. So for sure, adapting and seeing many different perspectives that can be also like why this guy is making this move in this situation at this moment. Like it makes sense for him, it makes sense for his background, it makes sense for where he's coming from. He will really take this spot against me in this field. He will, like it's many information that we don't take care of, and I think we should.
Absolutely. Where can people follow you? We see I'm showing your Instagram, your Twitter. What's the best way to keep up with you and what you have going on?
I'm an Instagram guy. You can watch my stories. They're always fun. There is always something going on, and like this is the thing that I use the most, I would say. I always apply funny stuff. I always I try to motivate a lot the people. I have an amazing cat. I have an amazing girlfriend. I have so Instagram is definitely where you can find me.
And what's this your name, your username here? What is that? Are they on Stars? That's your name. That's kind of what your online handle. What does that mean to you? What does that
mean? Lasagna.
Just it's Italian. You're just repping Italy, right?
No. Actually, it's some friends of mine when I moved to Malta to play online just before they opened this fast food company that made lasagna in Rome. They have like 3 shops near the Colosseum.
Okay.
And they were a few of the best poker players in Italy, and I just liked the idea, and lasagna was always my favorite dish. And when I went to Malta, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I call him lasagna. Like I love the, I loved it, and that's how it went.
There you go. Well, that's the name. So we're going to copy this. We're going to post. We're going to do a giveaway for a $55 ticket. Tell me before we give a party poker promo here, that's where I play 99%. Tell me about, you are a Winamax brand ambassador. So I want to give them some love and what type of tournaments? Cause I'm not familiar with them. Who can play on Winamax and what's going on currently now that there's such a poker with online? What's happening there?
So Winamax at the moment is the biggest room in Spain, France also, and biggest share market. Is very good for middle and low stake. They have really a lot of tournaments up to 250, like great prize pool, always like, $20, 100K guarantee, 50 bucks, 150K guarantee, like very good tournaments. Nice. Now they're gonna start the series. And the thing is like, I really love the guys. Like we are a great group. We have a great connection. Like everybody is different and everybody has his own story. And there is a lot of respect between one another. And we also have good times together. Like we do once a year a seminar and we spend like 3-4 days together where we do sport and do poker work together and try to help a bit the younger guys of the team. So it's more a family. Like I really stood there and like I really like them. I felt love since the beginning with them. And
there's a lot of great players, and I know the guys are really good guys for sure. When did you sign with them, and what did that mean for you to sign as an ambassador of a big brand? It's an honor to be signed like a professional in any sport, right? Like I
always had sponsorship back then. The thing is, like, for me, it was a very big thing because they weren't in Italy yet. And it was a time like they came, they looked for me even if they weren't in Italy, and they wanted me as an international. And at the same time, they, like in Italy, for example, Poker Stars, like, I don't know, it was clear that I was a clear talent for 10 years. And they always been a bit of a lobby. They always sponsor some guys that they were less skillful than me, Dario, or like some friends of us, but it was just the way it is. They were like a bit sponsoring only guys from Rome and stuff like this. So I always had this thing that sponsorship was unfair, and like, I did so much for poker, and like I'm a great ambassador, and like I'm a positive person or whatever it is. And it was, a bit always felt like, okay, whatever, I don't care. I'm so good at playing, I make money with playing, but I felt always a bit unfair of the situation. Where then after like being, looked up from many different companies of .com, because you did so good in a worldwide perspective, not only Italian anymore, it was for sure something that I was very happy for. I was very happy to represent also a company that had similar values of me in a way. I didn't want to sign for a company that would increase rake over and over, or like do any single decisions because they need to they have financial report every quarter and you need to improve it because otherwise how it works. So it was, for me, it was like, I know the guys in the team for a long time. I know Davide from 8 years. I always played with them. I never had an issue with them. They always been nice. They signed at the same time me and Adrian Mateus, that is someone that I really respect and good friend of mine. And so it was, it was like, okay, the guys are French. They want to do a step to go in Europe, and they're taking me and Adrian for Spain and me for Italy. And I want to go with it. Like I want to be with it. And it was good. I honestly would have, I had options back then, and I'm really happy I went with Winamax for how it come. Like, I'm very happy with them.
Very nice. Well, congratulations on that.
I like you guys from party too. It's not that I'm a hater. You guys are amazing. I'm very happy you changed, by the way. I need to tell you. I didn't like that poker's patch on you. Like,
this feels good. I wear this very proudly. I'm very happy to be here. And yes, I'm happy that you're there, and we're, getting to promote the game and do what we love. It's a great honor for sure. I want to close with, what do you, oh man, I had a question. So speaking of poker, oh man, I had a good question to end with, and I can't
think about it. Just one thing.
I had something
like also like there are a few companies that, like, both of them, like Pari and Winamax, like we have great relationship also, all of the guys, and they're both trying to do good for poker, like they're both trying to push amateurs, giving them opportunity, at the same time keeping the professional side in the best way and healthier possible, and promoting the live. And they are putting themselves there and trying to do the best. And it's something that, as a player, no matter what, when there is fair competition out there, is only a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's good. It is good. It's good. It's good. It's not a monopoly, right? You want to have options. You want to make the sites do stuff for the players and give value and not just take. And that's something I confident would say about. I know I've heard about Winamax and Party Poker. I'm very happy with the leadership and the vision and supporting poker and what it is. So I remember what I want to ask you. What are your thoughts? Because you're such a personality. You got the Italian passion. You're fun. You play online a lot. What do you think about Twitch? Can we get Mustapha Kanit to stream on Twitch?
You know how many people they ask me? Like, I don't
even know if I was on there. You might take some of the market share, man. I mean, it's like it's a competitive landscape, but I think you're doing an injustice.
No, me on Twitch, I take all the market. Come on, I'm hilarious. I'm amazing.
You would hurt. You would spread the numbers out.
Wait 1 second.
What is stopping?
I don't hear you.
Hello.
Okay, I hear you.
Back. Twitch, guys, can we get Mustapha on Twitch? What are the chances? Why aren't you on Twitch? And how do we
I explain you, because I think that Twitch, YouTube, all of this, I thought about it like 3 years ago when Just Dog came out and Outbreak. I thought about committing myself and doing it. It's just that like it's a work. It's a
lot of work.
You need to put your time there. You need to be available for your fans. You need to be available for your team. You need to cut your videos. You need to make your videos before. You need to have manage your sponsorship and be whatever, agree with them. And it's a big commitment. It's something that I would enjoy because I know myself. I would love to, give to people some. And I think one day there is definitely the option. And even in Italy, I think I would do probably some stream now for Corona to give back to the guys that are home and they want to take poker as an opportunity and explain some of my thinking process.
Right. Okay. That's fair answer. All right. Well, let's cut over here again. If we have a $55 from Party Poker, we're going to give away a ticket from today. I already copy. Do it again just to show you guys live here. Copy link. We're going to go over here, and then Mustapha, on your command, we're going to give a ticket away, $55. So tell me when, and someone's going to win it.
Now.
Right now, we're in sync on the click and the call, and Duck Dodgers is going to win a $55 ticket.
Bam, printing, Duck Dodgers, bam.
Something before.
My man.
The guy can do it. This guy's won multiple tickets. It's pretty crazy.
He won multiple tickets.
He's won before, I think. And back in January of 2020, he's got
one. The guy loves you. The guy loves
you. May of 2019. Look at this. This guy's won 3 times on a giveaway. I mean, listen, that I would say he's one of the luckiest people in the world to win 3 giveaways. But Mustapha, I like to pride ourselves on.
Maybe he has multi accounts on Twitter, and he's the guy writing you with 5 accounts, and then he plays.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's definitely. I'm sure there's some people that are doing some GTO.
They're hacking you.
So, yeah, man. All right. Well, Mustapha, what a pleasure. You're a guy that I always respect. We've got, our wives, girlfriends, our friends. We've traveled the world. We have very similar views, I believe, from what I hear and I know we talk about. So always really, I'm glad we got to do this. And do you have any last words for people out there to be safe in terms of coronavirus and just to look at this time that they have? You mentioned, it's a good opportunity. Anything that you would put in perspective, or do you want any kind of closing statements on these next months or so?
Guys, we're gonna be all right. It's I'm not really focus on your friends, family, speak to them, read, and focus on yourself. You have the time. Now you have the time, and even though if you always had an excuse, I work, I don't want to drop my job to play poker, now you don't need to. So take your opportunity, and for anything it will be, it can be poker, but it can be many other things, you want to start your business. Okay, now is the time that you put some work on and try to find something that because after a session, no matter what, they're gonna be back. after a recession, like people put back money in the economy, people will, will gonna be more investments in the economy, and like the states are in a situation that they're gonna push money into the economy. So just be ready for your opportunity and what you want to do. Like, be honest to yourself and just be ready.
I love it. You're spot on. I'm with you. I respect that. And thank you so much. Say hi to Cher. We'll do more in the future. If I see you on the Twitch streets, let me know. We'll be there. And I'm going to ask you, text me your username on the side. Cause you know who I am. I'm sure we've battled in the last.
Yeah. We battle a lot. I think you think I'm fucked up. Definitely. I'm sure.
You probably have. Actually, you know what? I think I might.
I think know.
I might know. Like, if I looked at a list of 20 names, I could probably figure it out. But I'd have to.
I will text you.
Is
this private chat? If I write in private chat, it shows.
Just put it on WhatsApp, just in case it pops up or something. Yeah, you can message me there. But guys, Mustapha Kanit, give him a follow on Instagram, Twitter. He is a legend of the game, great guy, and does provide a lot of fun content. And just overall, just one of those dudes you got to watch and respect the journey. So Mustapha, thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you, Jeff. I hope to see you soon. Let's do it more time. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
I got a great photo of you holding my baby boy like the Lion King.
Yeah, that was amazing. Your boy, wow, that guy is gonna be NBA All-Star, guys. He's 1 meter and 50, 1 year old.
He's a big guy. So yes, sir. Yeah, all right, Mustapha, be safe, man. Cheers.
Okay. Wish you all the best. Huh? Take care. Say hi.
Bye. Thank
Ciao.
you.